What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back. This is Resurrection Reviews. I have a cup of coffee because it is early morning. This is Venetian Reserve. Private Select blend from Kroger. Not bad at all. Very strong, very rich. If you don't like your coffee strong, don't drink this. I like mine a little bit strong. Sometimes I add milk and sugar to this. Today, I feel like I need all the strength I can get. So, there we go. Coffee. Very, very strong, very black. Today, we're going to continue the Summer of Slash. And as I said in my previous video, the next video up here is going to be, well, this video here, is going to be about the 1982 or 3 slasher film Madman. Made in 1981, that's what's listed on IMDb, it's what's listed on the back of this movie right here. So I'm going to call it an 81 movie, despite the fact that it came out a couple years later. Maybe its initial release was 81, and then it went wider in the following years. What I can say, though, is Madman is a significant improvement over the last movie we watched for the series. This is also a Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray release, but it's a lot better than the previous one. That's, of course, Graduation Day. I like Madman quite a lot. Really fun story here. Basically the same story as The Burning. If you've seen The Burning, this old guy comes back to haunt a camp. Not, I guess, the exact same story, but it's based on the same story. They're both based on the legendary figure of Cropsey. What would be really interesting is to watch The Burning, Madman, and then the documentary Cropsey after those two. All three movies really good. I think my favorite of the two Cropsey slasher films is Madman. I think I prefer it to The Burning. Not as good a kills as The Burning, but I do like the movie. Let's get into some specifics here, though. The story is of this farmer named Madman Mars, and one night Mars goes crazy and murders his whole family. After that, he's picked up by not the police, but a gang of people and strung up. They lynch him. And the following morning, his body's gone. He's this gigantic, monstrous farmer. Only seems to be partly human. Drinks like a fish. Swears like a sailor. But now he's back because some kids at a camp mocked his memory. And so now he's back to exact revenge and continue his bloodlust. Now, the first thing that you notice when you think about Madman is, in fact, that poster art. That poster art is awesome. The art on the inside as well is awesome. It's kind of similar to the art on the opening. Another thing you think about when you think about Madman is the music. Though the score itself is not fantastic, I had to say that the theme music is fantastic. Lore of the campfire, telling of his horror. That's really, really cool stuff. At some point I'd like to do a guitar cover of that, because I think I can play it fairly well. But yeah, Madman's got great music, great cover art here. The cinematography in Madman, let's talk about that. That's some really cool stuff. There are some scenes that are a little bit out of focus. That just kind of reflects the fact that they were trying to make this quick on the cheap. But you can still see some pretty cool shots here. A lot of the lighting is very blue, reminds you of Halloween and Halloween 4 specifically, as far as that lighting's concerned. It's out in the woods. It's supposed to be sort of late fall. It's around, I think, it's close to Thanksgiving, I believe, if I remember right. Because they mentioned this earlier in the movie. Really, really cool stuff. I really, really enjoy Madman quite a lot. The acting is not great in here. Galen Ross gives a pretty good performance, as she did in Dawn of the Dead. I like, Tony Fish as TP. I like him. I don't know if he's good, but I like him. I also had to say, I really like, let me see if I can find his name, Fred Newman. Fred Newman, who plays Max in this film. I really like his performance. He kind of lends this gravitas to the movie, because he's got this sort of higher class effect to him. And he says some pretty quotable lines, some pretty fun stuff. But of course, the standout is Paul Ehlers as Madman Mars. Really good performance. Madman's basically his life now. He makes a lot of Madman art, makes these crazy weapons, and sells them, and they're all sort of in an artistic fashion. I've said this a lot, but I like Madman quite a lot. There's only one thing I don't really like about it. Well, I mean, there's a few negatives to the movie. I mean, this is a slasher film. The acting's not going to be top-notch, but the characters are pretty good. The writing is all right, at the very least. It's got pretty good cinematography, if it's rushed. Really good lighting. The editing, I think, is pretty good here. The kind of editing that I like, which is kind of like not noticeable. And when you do notice editing, it's either because it's incredibly good or incredibly bad. This is just kind of the midpoint that I think is acceptable here. Overall, I think Madman's a pretty well-made movie. I've been talking about nudity in films. The nudity here doesn't bother me incredibly much, even though the scene is really extended. I know where it starts and I know where it ends. I can skip past it fairly quickly, and anybody should be able to do that. If they've seen Madman before, and but if they haven't, I mean, it is kind of tough to get past. But if you've seen Madman before, you can skip past it, and it's not that terrible. But it's a really long, extended scene of Galen Ross and Tony Fish swirling around in a hot tub, and they're both like totally naked and just, I don't know, being weird. Not weird, but being sexy. But yeah, nudity kind of bothers me, but not that much in this movie because I can get past it. The gore is pretty good special effects here. Madman looks cool. There's a lot of scenes that just stand out to me, like Madman pulling this axe that's stuck in a big tree stump that these people have not been able to get off. Some characters really stand out to me. TP, Galen Ross's character, I can't remember her name, but and of course Madman Mars, as well as Max and Richie, all these different characters in here. And they may not be the best actors, but they're pretty fun characters. So overall, I give Madman, if I was going to give it a star rating, probably 3 out of 5 stars. Really pretty good movie. I can't say anything really negative about it. Really fun stuff. If you're gonna watch a movie around Halloween that's not your typical slasher movie, kind of one that's a little bit more obscure, you can definitely put Madman on that list. This is a good movie. I can't say enough fun things about it, honestly. It's so fun. Such a good little movie, and really, to say one extra little thing about this, really great presentation on this Blu-ray. The film stock is a little bit damaged. There's stuff that they can't get past as far as the transfer. But this is a 2K transfer, I believe. We've got, new video interviews with the star Paul Madman Ehlers, producer and co-creator Gary Sales, and for the first time ever, Richie actor Jimmy Steele. Really good special feature there. That's a brand new feature to this release. The Legend Lives, 30 Years of Madman documentary by Victor Bonacore. That's 90 minutes. That features interviews, I believe, with the Creepy Kentuckian and with other members of Dead Pit, of course, Uncle Bill, maybe another member that was on there for a very short amount of time. I can't remember his name. Let's see, Madman Alive at 35 featurette. That's pretty cool as well. Commentary track with producer, director, and cast. That's a pretty good audio commentary. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I kind of spot checked it. Pretty good stuff. Commentary by The Hysteria Continues. I actually want to watch this one in full because I do like The Hysteria Continues. Music inspired by Madman and In Memoriam featurettes. That's some fun stuff right there. You get all this music that's based on the character of Madman Mars in the movie. There's a real cult following for this movie, realer than you could possibly imagine. There's a vintage still gallery, TV spots, original theatrical trailer, English SDH subtitles, and reversible cover design by Paul Ehlers. Let me see if I can actually get this out and show you a little bit of that cover design. I'm not going to switch it around completely, but this is what it looks like. Really, really cool stuff, right? That art's fantastic. And if this weren't the original cover art here, I probably would use the new cover art. I might, in fact, switch it over around Halloween just so that I've got it there and maybe even display it a little bit. Really cool cover art. Fun movie, guys. If you're a slasher fan, this is kind of an essential. Like I said, skip past the nudity. I don't like that. There's not much that really takes this movie down a peg for me, just as an entertaining little slasher, somewhat classic. So, Madman, really like it. The next movie we're going to be reviewing in this series is The Redeemer, Son of Satan, which is on Amazon Prime for free. I do not own it. I started watching it to give you a really quick little preview. It looks incredibly low budget. It already doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'm gonna just go with it and try and put any kind of doubts aside. I will let you guys know what I think about it. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of the devil. I'm not a big fan of like satanic film or anything like that. I mean, I do love The Exorcist, but that's more a pro-Catholic movie than anything else. Anyway, though, I reviewed Madman. I will be reviewing The Redeemer, Son of Satan, and probably sometime today I'm going to figure out what the next movie is on this list that I'll be doing. I might post my review of Redeemer later. I might post my review of it a couple days from now. Not really certain. I know I've droned on a lot here, so I'm going to go ahead and say rock on. If you like, subscribe. Talk to you later. One more sip of this delicious coffee. Y'all have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.